I'm back. Hey guys. Hello. Welcome everyone. Oh, it's good to be back. How I've missed you all. What is going on with what? Sorry guys, something's just gone on with the data. Let me just show you quickly. Hey guys, I think we could be getting F3 data through here, or is this F2 data? Interesting. More watchalogs maybe on the horizon, guys. As the missus turns around at me and raises an eyebrow. How dare you? How dare you? But that's interesting. Something that I've been, of course, calling for. And maybe we can get it. But yeah. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're well. Yes, hope you... last GP of the triple header, Fratterson. Yes, good to see you guys. Yeah, apologies for missing yesterday. Of course, the day job is still priority for me. It pays the bills, pays for little one who's crying in the background because she's finished her food, finished her breakfast. It's like, I want more. I want more. You want more? You ate it all. You ate it all. Looking at me, unimpressed. Hey, Chris, good to see you, mate. Yeah, no, it's good to be back. Good to be back. Tandem cars, finally. Yeah, I'm sure this will sort itself out, the data, but it's interesting. It's interesting that it's available, because this has never been available before to us. So I will keep an eye out when the F2's on and see if it happens for the F2 as well, because we could have, we could be... Not this weekend, because I'm busy. I'm going on holiday Monday, so busy running around, packing and doing some last-minute bits. But, yeah, maybe after our break, when there's F2 and F3 on, we could fit some watch-alongs in for those. So, hey, Ant, good to see you, mates. Yeah, the main reason I said I don't do watch-alongs for F3, F1 Academy, F2 is primarily because I have a specific way that I want to do them. I want to do them like this, obviously with track map and so forth, not just a timing tower. But... yeah, if this becomes available now, which it seems to, this is the first time I've seen it like this, then maybe the case. But yeah. But guys, what did I miss yesterday? What did I miss? I haven't really checked up on anything that happened with F1. I was training session with work yesterday. That's why I couldn't get out of it. And then I was suffering with hay fever, so I was dying this morning. So, thankfully, I'm all good now. I missed a boring evening. No, absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay, fair enough. Okay, we didn't miss anything then. I did see something. I think I saw a quote from George that something around the McLarens, the flexi front wing hasn't changed for them at all. So, you certainly didn't miss the Sky broadcast. Good to know, man. Good to know. Evening, Alan. Good to see you, mate. Thank you for the 2, by the way. Much appreciated. So, thank you as well. Will Ferrari sort out and sack Adami? Well, yeah, that'll be the question, won't it? Dada. Yeah? If you can hear her in the background. Will they sack him? I don't know if they'll sack him. They might just move him off of the pit wall to another department, or just back into the garage rather than actually on the pit wall, looking after Lewis. I think they have to assess it. However, I do think that, and Alex Van Gien made a very good point about this on the Missed Apex podcast, that there's clearly a procedural issue when it comes to the transference of data. How many times do you hear, we are checking, I'll get back to you? It's never instant, the data or the feedback that the drivers get on both sides of the garage. Although it has improved on Leclerc's side of the garage because they removed Xavi and they put, I think it's Brian in, the new engineer there. So that communication has improved. But Lewis, this is something that Ferrari have been struggling with for years, and they clearly have. It has to go up the chain and then come back down the chain for a decision to be made. And by then, a good lap or so a couple of laps may have gone by the time they actually make a decision. So, and that's relayed back to the driver. So yeah, it's an issue with Ferrari as a whole, but Adami has never really, the things that he is in control of and the things that he can, like his job in relation to car position out on track, other cars coming up to his driver, that's something that he's failed on in multiple times. There's evidence in his history of working with Ferrari where he's done that with Carlos Sainz and before. So yeah, this will be a boring race. McLaren will be leading by a mile. Never ruled them out though. Never ruled them out. Who are these drivers? I think they're the F3 drivers from the sprint race earlier. And I'm sure once the session actually gets underway, it will update itself. But it's intriguing because it means that I could potentially have access to F3 stuff. So let me see if I can gain access to that, because normally you can't. Normally it's just like watch replay. Let me see if I can. No. Intriguing. Oh yeah, I'll just have to keep an eye on it. Maybe it is something that we can do. The sprint race is after this in F2, so maybe I can try and see if we can get all the live data. So maybe I'm missing a trick, guys. Hey Cobus, good to see you, mates. Oh yes, good to be back. Good to be back. Hey Daniel, you missed me for the 2 sessions. Not the same when you watch others. Good to have you. Thank you, guys. Yeah, as I said last time around, it's not my intention to miss any sessions, but unfortunately, the Friday sessions I do have to take my day job still has to take priority. This, contrary to what you may believe, this isn't my full-time career yet. Hopefully, in the near future, it is, and I won't miss any future sessions for you. So if you want this to be my full-time career, hit the like and subscribe button, guys. And if you want to support the channel further, hit the membership link as well. You can join as a member. So yeah, it really does. Every little helps. But yeah, still have to, of course, pay the bills and the mortgage and that. So. Who have I got on P1 for tomorrow? I'm still sticking by Max. I think Max is... It all depends on how these tyres, how the Red Bull can handle these tyres. Now, he hasn't been too far off the pace, I think, from what I had a glance at yesterday. As I said, I didn't really see any of the footage. I haven't done a deep dive into practice yesterday. So I think Verstappen, who's won 4 times here in his career, he's going for his 4th win in a row. I just think if the Red Bull can control those tyres and look after them, like we saw at Imola, then it's a big if, of course, then I think he'll be there for sure, and I think he could win this race. But Barcelona, it's quite a high track temperature at the moment, in the 40s. It's a different kettle of fish compared to Imola. So, would there be any red flags in Barca? Maybe. It won't be, if there's any red flags in Barcelona, it won't be too disruptive as what it was, of course, in Imola and here. Monaco. So, Semi, do I think the delay in Ferrari communication is due to the bureaucratic nature of Italy? Potentially, yes. It's definitely a culture thing at Ferrari. So I have, from people that I know who have worked with Italian businesses and entrepreneurs, they've said it's very... They have every culture, every country kind of has a specific way of working and a structure. And Italians, they have this they very much like to be in control. And maybe there's Italians in the chat. But from people, I've personally never worked with Italian businesses, but this is what I've heard discussing with people that have done. And they've said they're very hierarchical, they're very like in control. And the upper management are always very involved in decisions at lower level. So when it comes to Ferrari, that also occurs on the pit wall. Like, it has to go up the chain. Decisions have to go up the chain and then come back down the chain, even if they're small decisions. So, and I think that's why there's such a delay in the communication. And then also, there's it's evident that Lewis and Adami don't have that link yet, which is understandable, but there's clearly a breakdown there in the communication, like of the information Lewis wants and how quickly he wants it. So yeah, When did they turn the sprinklers on? I know. Hey Ashley, I was missed. You tuned in some other watch-alongs. I appreciate it. I'm not going to talk down on any other streams and watch-alongs. I'm only going to talk about myself, but it's nice to know that, yeah, as I said before, what we do here seems to be once people find the channel, you guys seem to stick around, so thank you. I think Lando is over his curse. He won the last 4 pole starts. Well, he won here. Well, he didn't win here last year. Sorry, he got pole position last year, didn't he? And then he kind of bottled it. These whites going colourblind. I know. How dare I say yellow? They're white. They're white icons. The white icons here, I think, are from Formula 3. So hopefully this is going to... I think this is going to sort itself out once the session gets underway. You can see it's just 1.5 minutes remaining, so... Chances of Bono joining Ferrari? I don't think so, Minty. Unless they... You have to remember is that he would have to up sticks. He's got a family himself. He'd have to move to Ferrari, Italy. It's a big life change for him. So maybe if it means sticking with Lewis, but I believe there was a clause as well in Lewis's contract that he couldn't still take away any Mercedes personnel for a certain period of time. So not sure how. And then the thing is with Bono, there probably wouldn't be an immediate, like everything there is in F1, there's always a 6-month gardening leave. So Bono actually wouldn't be able to start working with Ferrari until next season at earliest. So, hey Murray, you're listening to like a podcast while in Sainsbury's. She is like, yeah, she's just started to find her voice. She's starting to say, dada, dada, dada. I'm not sure if it's kind of because she's calling out for me or if it's just like the only thing that she can pronounce. So everything is dada, 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 dada. Hey, bro, good to see you, mates. Warm and humid Thailand at 5:30. Yeah, it's warm and humid here in the UK actually as well. So thank you guys, Marlena. Thank you, welcome. Yeah, thanks for the kind the well wishes, guys. That you missed me. I missed you guys too. I really did. I did tune into some other watch-alongs and I was like, I'm so getting FOMO right now. Right, is this session going to get underway? It should do. Green light pit exit is open. So, yeah, the session is underway. No one's out on track just yet. But let's see if any of this data is going to sort itself out. I'm sure it will. I'm sure it's not just us who's having this issue at the moment with all this data being displayed the way it is. Maybe it is. Yeah, it's not just us. It seems to be others are having this issue as well, I think. So, bit of a mix-up here with the data. So, we'll see when Colapinto hopefully goes out on track. What happens to Lewis, Christina? I don't know what happens to Lewis. Why is going up here with the data? Let me try and reload this for you guys. Hang on, bear with me. Two seconds. No, it's not. It's not me. It's definitely F1. So yeah, F1 data is a bit skew-if at the moment, guys. So apologies. It's still showing all the F3 drivers out there for some reason. I'm sure it will sort itself out. So it's a bit bizarre. Hey, Mike. During the races, some drivers' lap times are marked with a green edge in, and then some of them go full green. What does that mean? So green edging means it's. That's a fair point, actually. I can't remember exactly what that is. So normally when it's a full green, it means they've set their fastest lap. When it's a green edging, I don't actually know. I'll have to find out. They shortened the DRS zone last year to foul effect. Do we revert it back this year? I haven't heard anything of the salt yet, Raymond. As I said, I'll look into that for you. I'll try and look into that and see if the DRS has been extended back to where it should be. Yeah. I've been quite removed from the news in the last couple of days, especially with yesterday missing the 2 sessions. But yeah, we'll keep an eye out on that information for you because that is essential here. Yeah, the DRS Barcelona, it's a good track, but overtaking is only really done down into the first corner. We're hoping that we're going to get some tyre offsets here. Pirelli have brought their hardest compound tyre, the C1, C2, C3. What's really intriguing, guys, is that Pirelli have released... sorry. Pirelli have released a graphic for the next 5 races of the tyres that they're bringing to the circuits. So you've got Silverstone. Silverstone is a step softer from last season, which is going to be intriguing because Silverstone, there's a lot of energy put through those tyres. I know, there is. And then when it comes to Spa, what's interesting is that they're skipping a tyre compound. We're going from the C1, skipping the C2, and then we've got the C3 and C4 being used. So intriguing tyre selections in the upcoming races, which should hopefully provide us some good races moving forwards. Especially in Austria and Silverstone and Spa. So, how's work, Jimmy? Yeah, it's all right. I mean, it's good. Pays the bills. I'd like to do this full time though. Green edging in the race means gaining on the driver in front. That would make total sense, Dimba. Yes. There you go. It's another... hey, girls, it's rather ballsy that McLaren didn't add any upgrades. That rocket ship really got tweaked while in Monaco. Yes, so I did read this, that Monaco... I did read this, but when it came to... You're so talkative, you're putting me off. When it came to their front wing, the new front wing that they've got on the car this weekend, they brought back an Imola. So they tested it out in FP1 in Imola. So it's not technically a brand new wing. And it clearly isn't as many kind of predicted, I think. Many were hoping that it would play more of an impact on the performance of McLaren. But looking at their times yesterday, it seems like it's just normal service for them. Who are the drivers in white? I think they're the F3 drivers from the sprint race. I think that's who they are. Yeah, it's like 20. There's so many cars, so... Quality's in a few hours' time. Yeah, we have the session set up for you. So, do I have a child because the voice? Yes. It's not my voice, is it? Yeah, she's just here. She's in our higher chair and she's very vocal at the moment. She's been fed. I don't understand yesterday. The Hamilton car was okay because it changed the configuration and fixed worse today. Because they're always changing. Yeah, I mean, I did see he was down in 11th or something. But I was listening to the F1 show this morning and I heard Nico Rosberg say that car just looks arguably the worst through turn 7. It's getting oversteer, understeer, a bit of everything. So the Ferrari is not a well-balanced car here. And unless they find something today in their performance, they're going to struggle. They're unfortunately Ferrari fans, so doesn't matter if I wear the Ferrari merch or not. It's they're on the back foot, that's for sure. Are the F3 drivers participating as well? No, they're not. No. You didn't know I had a child? Yeah, little girl, 8 months now, as you can hear her. Very happy today. She's happy. F1's back. She's happy. The Watchalong. You thought you guys were happy I was back doing the Watchalong today. Nico was a savage with Fred. Yeah, but he asked the hard-hitting questions, and that's the thing. I mean, Sky do very much sit on the fence. They're not willing to ask those hard questions. Whether you like him or not, he is very much like Marmite, Jacques Villeneuve. He does ask the questions that like the former F1 drivers aren't afraid to ask them. Jenson Button, he does ask them as well a bit, but that's okay. But mostly, yeah, the presenters, the pundits, they're not willing to ask those hard-hitting questions. So, hey Rob, good to see you, mates. No Ferrari shirt. No, it's actually in the wash at the moment. So, I'm winning life. It's good. It is good. I can't complain. Of course, in life, you always want more. You're always looking at moving yourself forwards. But yeah, no, I couldn't ask for any better at the moment. So yeah. Happy Baby is ready for free practice, yeah. McLaren brought no changes to their car for the weekend, according to the FI reporting. Yes, we said that, Dave. So it's only... Technically, they have put on the new front wing because it needs to conform with the new regs. But they actually tested this front wing out in Imola. So it's not... according to the FIA documents, it's not brand new. So they don't have to put it out in the documentation that they have a new front wing because they did that back in Imola. So, yeah. But it's not had the large impact. I mean, yes, F1 is a game of fractions. F1 is a game of fractions. Are you okay over there? Are you okay? She's excited for holiday. She probably wants to join me for the commentary. I know. She's starting to find her voice. That's the thing. I don't know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because if she takes after me, I mean, good luck to the missus, because she's going to have 2 of us in the house. I can talk for England, and so will she. So, hey Glenn, good to see you, mate. Yeah, they're doing all good. What was I going to say? I was saying something about... I've lost my train of thought. Apologies. I lost my train of thought. Can't remember. I'll come back to it. It will come back to me. Alonso took a sneaky jab at Hamilton, calling him... Yeah, so Hamilton... so Fernando Alonso, he grinds my gears when he does this. He is such a salty man. I like Fernando Alonso. I think he's a brilliant driver, but he is a salty man. And he has it in for Lewis. And he has it in for Ferrari. And the fact that those two are now together... I mean, he will dig Ferrari out anytime they're out on track. He will have a dig and a little sly comment about Lewis. Not directly, though. Not directly. He's very clever. He knows how to play the media, and he's very clever. And he will just make the odd comment here or there, and you're like, that's so directed at Lewis or so directed at Ferrari. Like, dude, you're in an Aston Martin. You're in an Aston Martin, and you haven't even scored a point yet. Yes, you've been unlucky, but like just reel it in a little bit, you know? I like how blunt Nico Rosberg is. He just doesn't care about the mainstream options and just does what he wants. It's hilarious. Exactly. And I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Is that I guess that's why, not going too much off topic, but that's why obviously in all sports, that's why online personalities in particular have become more and more popular, is because we aren't beholden to contracts with like F1 and things like this, where if we say something that a team doesn't like or a driver doesn't like, whether we are talking factually or not, they can't withhold access to us. So Sky have most definitely they've definitely reeled in how open they are with their criticism of all drivers since Red Bull basically went, we're not talking to you anymore. And clearly the higher ups have gone, we can't not let that happen. It's bad for business. So that's why when Nico Rosberg comes on, Jacques Villeneuve and Jenson Button, they're like a breath of fresh air because they just say it how it is. Hey, Rob, good to see you back, mate. You waited for the 3-minute highlight vids last night. I appreciate the loyalty. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Everyone needs some salt in their life. That's true. My daughter's very chatty, far too chatty and coherent to be a Ferrari strategist. You're right over there. Everyone's talking about you. How loud you are. You're stealing the show. These watch-alongs are supposed to be about me, not you. But no, welcome guys. Over 1,000 of you in here. It's good to be back. Good to be back. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We do, of course, we'll be back in a few hours' time for qualifying. But yeah, no one's out there at the moment. And the reason why they're not out there is because this session isn't representative. So FP2 was a representative session yesterday because track conditions cool. It's very hot at the moment. You can see it started this session at 42 degrees. It's now up to 44 and a half. That's probably going to increase, and then it's going to come down when it comes to qualifying in a few hours' time. So we'll probably see drivers get out there in maybe like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then we'll probably see some push laps because the drivers always want to get into qualifying mode, into a rhythm. Before the session. So yeah, I think they've pretty much most likely done all their long runs and stuff. So yeah, a bit quiet out there at the moment. And apologies for the live stream data or the live data. For some reason, there's an overlap here from the F3 sprint race. If you're just tuning in, something that I didn't think was possible. So thankfully, maybe we've just discovered there that we could do some F3 and F1 watch-alongs. So stay tuned for that. Sources have it Ferrari are going to fire Fred to bring in Horner. I think that's just a rumour. So a rumour that, I mean, if you're Ferrari and you're Christian Horner, I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but if they've approached them, you just want to... I'll bring you on here in a minute so you can say hello to everyone. Are there any drivers that I respectfully dislike? Yes. Yeah, there is. I'm not Stroll's biggest fan, as I think people know. I think he's way overstayed his welcome. Is there anyone else out there on the grid at the moment? I mean, I've always said, like, I'm not Max Verstappen's biggest fan, but I respect him as a driver and I respect him as a competitor. You don't have to be a fan of someone to not appreciate what they do out on track, and just in sport in general. Who else am I not a particular fan of? I'm trying to see who else is on here at the moment. I've drawn a blank. Who else? I think that's kind of like really it. I think there was a few drivers in the past. As I said, Alonso, I like him, but he's a bit like Marmite. Sometimes I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah, I think that's it at the moment. I think those drivers who I've kind of had maybe a dislike for, not liked as much, have moved on. So it's normally the ones who kind of like overstayed their welcome, and you're just like, come on, like move on now. Let's bring the young blood through, which thankfully we've got. So Ferrari and rumours are the same word, aren't they? Yeah. Do I think Max has GOAT potential? 100% he has. Yeah, he does. I mean, he's going for his 5th world title this year. He could. I mean, he's still what, 28? Is he 28? He's not. He's definitely a few years away from 30. So yeah, he's got plenty of time in the sport if he wants to stay in the sport. That is. I think the question is more so: will Max stay around long enough to become statistically that GOAT status? But I think he's already up there. Of course he is, because of just 4 world titles and how really quick he is. So Honda will be the catalyst for Stroll's departure. I don't know. I really don't know. The thing is with Stroll's departure is that I think it all depends on Lawrence. Whether the investors decide to put pressure on Lawrence Stroll, obviously he's old man I'm talking about, whether they decide to put pressure on and say, look, we want him out because of, or Honda go, we're not going to supply you an engine anymore because, with respect, you've got Lance Stroll. But everything Lawrence Stroll has done is to give his son an opportunity to win a world championship. And this is what I said. We could find ourselves in a position where Lance Stroll has a championship winning car in the coming years. No one knows who's going to be the quickest when it comes to 2026 and his new regs. Now, would he be able to beat his teammate? I don't think so, no matter who that teammate is. But Lance Stroll could very possibly have a championship winning car in his possession at the start of next season. It's not out of the realms of possibility, guys. You've been watching F1 for the better part of 3 decades. I think he has been the best you've witnessed. For Max Verstappen, and I've said this before, for me, he's still not on that Mount Rushmore, because I still want to see more from him in wheel-to-wheel action. I still feel like that the tactics that he kind of unnecessarily deploys when he's in wheel-to-wheel battles, I think just holds him back for me personally. I'd like to see him just fight a little bit more fairly. And I'm sure he will. And I'm sure he will be tested more in his F1 career. And we'll get to see that. But he's too quick of a driver to deploy those jinking in the braking zones and things like this. And I'd just like to see a bit more fair battling from him. So, who are these names? They are F3 drivers. I don't know why they're on there. There's nothing that we can do. It's F1 data for some reason. Has carried it over. So, do apologise. But no doubt once everyone gets out there and eventually sets a lap time, they'll be pushed down to the bottom of your screen and you won't worry about it. So, Jos Verstappen used to holiday with the Schumacher family. Given Max's talent, do we think Schumacher is really his dad? Oof. I mean, yes. Just look at them. They look so alike. Is there any driver you would like to bring back into F1? Not right now. No, I think everyone who's, and I'm speaking about people that could possibly come back into F1 who are like suitable to do so. I'm not talking about Fantasyland, Alive and Dead and so forth. But no, I think anyone who is out there at the moment, who has left the sport now, has left the sport at the right time. So I think Bottas is he's overstayed. He overstayed his welcome and he's now gone. What's going on with the live data? The live data's just gone absolutely on the fritz here. What's going on? Oh no. F1 data's gone absolutely skewiff. There we go, it's back. Something went wrong. No shit. Sorry, guys. They're doing Control-Alt-Delete. Probably. Yeah, they have. They literally have done. I'm not lying to you. They actually have. What's going on here? Look. Let's do it ourselves. They literally have done, because on the sector times, all the F3 drivers have disappeared. So bear with me. There we go. Yay! Back to normal. Woo! That's why it just paused. That's why everything just went on the fritz there. There we go. We're back. We're back in action. It's all good. Although I need to reload everything now. So, just give me a sec. Let's get the race control messages up. Although, for some reason, the race control messages aren't working. I tell you what, they've really had issues with live data this year. They've had a number of transponder issues on cars. There's been a lot of lag when the cars have been close together. It hasn't been faultless this year from F1. By any means. A bit disappointed. So, yeah, it's just reset itself. So, all good now. All good now. All good now. All the F3 drivers are gone. So you can see there yet. A few more drivers coming out on circuit. Verstappen's now out on circuit. Albon, Sainz. They're all going very slowly though. So we'll keep an eye out on them. Lots of medium tyres. Soft tyres I need to be careful of. Of course, they want to hold on to those for qualifying. We're definitely not going to see, I think, drivers... I mean, we may see drivers struggle to take in 2 brand new sets when it comes to qualifying in Q3 if they make it there. So Max hasn't been properly tested since Ricciardo. His GOAT status is suspended until then. I disagree to the sense of that you need a challenging teammate to be able to be labelled yourself as one of the greatest of all time. Because if you are that good, you automatically guarantee yourself #1 status. And that's what Lewis did pretty much. I know Bottas will say he was like level playing field, but Lewis kind of did that. Schumacher did that. Verstappen has done that. And you don't need to have a competitive teammate to be able to go, oh, he hasn't been challenged. It's more so just out up front on his own. It's him having a challenge out up front when he does have a competitive car. And that challenge can come from another team, another driver and so forth. As Charles Leclerc's going on a push lap at the moment. We'll see how he gets on. Lewis is on a set of mediums. So, yeah, I don't think you need a competitive teammate to be not label yourself as one of the greatest of all time. So, some people say Senna and Schumacher had the same level of aggression as Max in wheel-to-wheel racing. Is it true? I haven't witnessed either of them. Schumacher was dirty. He was. I think you just have to go back and look at Schumacher. He was dirty. And then he ended up getting himself a car which was just, because he was so good, was just so dominant. He could start from in the bottom half of the field and end up lapping the whole field. That's how quick that car was. But also, he was able to extract the pace out of that car. The best drivers are able to drive the quickest cars because the quickest cars aren't necessarily the easiest to drive. So, yeah, that's what Max has been able to do in his Red Bull. And that's why our second drivers have come in and have been unable to compete with him because of that. I don't have that adaptability to it. Lewis and Max have second drivers that supported them on their championship runs. To an extent, I mean, Max less so, I think. Max less so. I think what was really intriguing when it came to 2021, and no, I'm not going to Abu Dhabi, guys, do not fear, is that when you look at it, both Perez and Bottas really helped their teammates in that championship fight. Of course, most notably, people will call back on Perez in Abu Dhabi, holding up Lewis. But Bottas did pretty much sod all for Lewis, other than like Hungary, which people will say went bowling. But as an actual support figure, like he just didn't support Lewis at all. He never got in the way of Max. He never he didn't. Did he win any races, Bottas, that year? I can't remember if he did or not. I don't think he did. So, yeah, that year, Max and Lewis were on a completely different level to their teammates. and they didn't help them. The only time, notably, their teammate helped them was, Perez in Abu Dhabi, I think, and Bottas in Hungary. So, exactly, Josh, yeah, they were so far back most of the time, so. Thanks, Rod, much appreciated. Look, I always, look, guys, I'm going to be wrong about a lot of things. I don't pretend to be an all-knowing figure on F1 and my opinions. It's okay to disagree with them. If you disagree with them, I'm happy to have that respectful discussion in chat. But I'll always try and base my opinions around kind of logic. It won't just be based on emotion. So, which unfortunately the internet and specifically F1, the F1 sphere, whether it be on Twitter in particular, is just, there's so much like baseless emotion. There's no logic around arguments and opinions, which is quite funny to kind of see and witness, to be honest with you. Max is good, but way overhyped. The glazing is ridiculous. He had an absolute rocket ship. Yes, he has had a rocket ship. However, Lewis also had a rocket ship. Michael Schumacher also had a rocket ship. Senna had a rocket ship one year. So, like, the best drivers position themselves in teams where they're able to benefit from having a rocket ship. That's the difference. They don't linger in the lower half of the field. And the career game is a big factor. Like, you have to play the career game correctly. Arguably, the fastest driver, the driver who should have more world championships is Alonso. But he has played the career game and burned so many bridges in F1 that he has left teams and they've become better once he's left the team. Kind of a common denominator. People will call it unlucky, but I call it being the common denominator there. That when a figurehead or a figure, a bad egg leaves a team or leaves a business, and that business then starts to thrive again, I think that says a lot. I don't think it's difficult to put two and two together. And if you listen to some of the stories about Fernando Alonso and his time in McLaren and Ferrari, look at McLaren. He left McLaren, and look how McLaren are now thriving. So he comes in being very positive. I think Aston Martin's probably the most positive he's ever been at an F1 team. And that's because he knows it's his last chance saloon in F1. He can't burn this bridge. Otherwise, he's out. He's out of F1. So, happy baby in the background. She's very happy. Yeah. This Max haters forgot that Lewis jumped to Mercedes from McLaren for specific reasons. Yeah, you have to jump from... And Max, I think Max will do the same. I think he 100% is assessing his situation at Red Bull right now, because you have to. You don't want to be stuck at Red Bull for the next few years. So I still think he's going to stay until the end of 2026, and I think Max Verstappen is that good of a driver and he's that adaptable that he will... Mark, thank you for becoming a member, by the way. Welcome to the pit crew. I think he is that adaptable that he'll still have that very high stock, and he's still young enough as well that he'll have that very high stock that teams will want him, and they'll happily get rid of, let's say, Mercedes. They'll happily get rid of a good working status quo of Kimi Antonelli and Russell. They'll split that up to bring Max in, or Aston Martin will bring him in. So I think he'll still have that pull, and I think him assessing the situation in 2026 or the end of that first season is probably the correct decision for him. The only thing that may be a bit of a stumbling block is the fact of that, yes, he has a considerable... I don't know how long that performance clause goes on for, which has been highly rumoured, whether it's the 4 places, top 2 places, I don't know. If that's a per season thing, or if that has like a limit, that may have like a cut-off point where it's only valid for this season, and that could then put a stumbling block on people buying him out of his contract because he's on 55 million a year. You have to pay out 2 years of his contract, which is, to 2028, or 3 years of his contract. I mean, that's a lot of money for any team to pay out. So that's why, of course, Aston Martin have always been linked with him, because they have the dough, don't they? Hey, Graham. Good to see you, mates. Good to see you. Good to see you. What is my ethnicity? I am European. I'm English. Yeah. I think I have some roots to Malta. My dad did like a ancestry thing one year, and I think links to like the Mediterranean, like back, like way down my lineage. But yeah, no, born and raised in England. I do tan. Beware, guys. I do tan very easily. I'm going on holiday Monday, and the next time you see me will be Canada in a couple of weeks' time, because this is the last race of this triple header. I will look very different. I'll look very tanned. And it's not sunbeds. It's proper vitamin D. Hello. Muy Flavio being at Alpine, Fernando will always have a drive if he needs it. Aston won't give Alonso another championship unless Lance leaves the team. I just don't think Alonso will have, I don't know, like, you still have to appease your investors, and as much as Alonso is still talented, trying to appease investors that you want to bring in a 45-year-old driver, unless the F1 film that comes out in a couple of weeks' time makes those realise, oh, maybe we should be looking at bringing back Mika Hakkinen, someone like that. I think you're going to struggle to appease the ownership of any team, but bringing in a 45-year-old driver is the right decision. So, hey, Taco, good to see you, mates. How do you make this stupid European practice sessions being before 5 a.m? I know. Well, at least the next race is nice, at a nice, suitable time for you in Canada, in your own country. So, exactly, Daniel, it is. I can't complain. I'm not complaining. So, Russell Antonelli moves up to P2. So 4 temps separating the top 2 at the moment on the soft tyre. Norris has only set his lap time on the mediums. So let's have a look. What was pole position last year, guys? Let's have a look. I need to have a look at this. As expected, even with this flexi wing change, which seems to not really have had that much of an impact. Let's see. What was pole position last year? Was it a 1? I think some people said 110. Was it 110? Can I do a 110 in quality? Piastri did a 112. It was a 112.7 he did yesterday, wasn't it? So last year, pole position was, of course, Lando Norris. And it was a 111.3. Maybe. The only thing that may stop it getting to... The only thing that may stop them getting below a 111.3 is the temperatures. Just pushing 47 degrees now, so... I think it needs to cool quite a bit, maybe down to 40 degrees, just below that, for us to push being in the 110s. But we'll see. Do I think some of the current F1 drivers are where they are because they are from a rich family? 100%, yeah. Motorsport is the most expensive sport in the world. And if you think otherwise, then you're kidding yourselves. The Lewis Hamilton and I think it's Esteban Ocon as well, and like Liam Lawson, those who get into kart, I mean, you go for a karting session in the UK now or anywhere, it's expensive for like half an hour karting. It is expensive. And I grew up competing in another sport that had an expensive entry, which was golf. Like, to try and make it as a professional golfer is also expensive. But Formula One is, of course, about the machinery, the engineering, the tech. Like, I know from guys that are karting coaches, and they have kids turn up in 100,000. Like, they have like these massive trucks following behind them, like these tour trucks, and like they're able to get brand new tires, brand new parts, have a brand new car pretty much like every race weekend, brand new tires all the time. So to try and that's why really you only see rich families, or those who are fortunate enough to have the backing, get into the sport, because to get your kids starting in motorsport anyway is very expensive. And then if you get backed by a team, then that's where obviously that frees up your cash as a family member. And yeah, unfortunately that's what it is. I think that's what Lewis Hamilton said he wanted to do when he retired, to try and make it a bit more accessible. Alex Albon and Carlos Sainz also said something similar, that they'd like to do that, and they were talking about how karting is just so expensive now. So that's why, yeah, it's not the norm for someone to come through, and it's so rare for someone to come through who hasn't had a leg up to start off with. So, Golf Channel when? I haven't got enough time on my hands, Escobar. I haven't got enough time on my hands. I'd love to take a few drivers out and interview them and play a good round of golf. That'd be good fun. He was waiting for Stuffeyy to say he had a background playing polo. No, not quite. So, every Brit kid that goes karting is trying to emulate Lewis, of course, and it's just the same as like when every kid that starts golf wants to be Tiger Woods. That's how you start off out. That's your aspirations, but yeah, unfortunately, money is very influential when it comes to motorsport. In any form. In any form. It's not just Formula 1, the F2, F3, other motorsport series. Like, it's just so expensive. It really is. Hey, Dan, good to see you, mates. Didn't see you there. You would ask so much if all the teams trolled Ferrari in free practice where they all agreed to reply, we are checking. Why is everyone quiet about Yuki when Lawson was massive news? I guess because Yuki is just showcasing what everyone knew. I mean, Yuki was in a win-win situation to an extent where he either excelled in that second Red Bull seat and everyone said, look how good of a driver he is, and he should have been put there in the first place, or he confirms what everyone already pretty much knew, that the second car is a poison chalice, and that car is primarily developed around Max Verstappen. And that's pretty much what Yuki is discovering. And everyone's just like, yeah, okay, it's expected. So the thing is with Lawson is that the reason why there was so much news on Lawson is that unfortunately for him, he was unable to drag himself out of Q1. He was at the bottom, and it was unprecedented that a driver was being replaced after 2 races. So, yeah. Would I prefer Lando or Oscar as world champion? I don't have a preference. I generally don't. I think either is good for the championship. I think, on one hand, while I don't have a preference, there is a little bit of me that would like to see Lando win it. Maybe a touch more, because I think he has just received an unnecessary amount of hate online. And I think it would be a brilliant 2-finger salute to everyone online about it. So, but I think either would be a great champion. And it's always good to have a brand new champion as well. So, what's this new XP thing? I don't know. It's this community thing is a YouTube thing. It's come through an update. I have no idea where it's come from. So yeah, don't get too disheartened where you are on the leaderboard here, because I have absolutely no idea. What's the leaderboard? A place for fans to stand out in the community. The top 3 get special badges in live chat. It resets every stream. How do you get on the leaderboard? You'll need to collect experience points or XP. Here's how you get them. Send live chat messages, send super chats and super stickers. So I guess it's just to try and provide a bit more interactivity in live stream chats. But yeah. If Max is getting P5 at Monaco, good luck to Yuki. The second Red Bull car is getting more twitchy. Even Rosberg observed that as the season progresses, Yuki will experience a hardship. Yeah, so the problem for Yuki as well is that he's always an iteration behind, or a revision behind Max Verstappen's car, because Max Verstappen gets the updates first, and then they bring them onto Yuki's car. Yuki also, because of Imola, his crash in Imola, where obviously he rolled it, they've had to revert back to old spec parts. He's got an old chassis. He has got a brand new power unit in there. But he's got old spec parts, and that means that the car is like revisions behind Max's car now, and going to be even more unstable. So that's the problem. And the thing is as well is that you also have front wings and rear wings on the car that are designed to work with a specific chassis, specific side pods and so forth. And if they try and mix and match that up, I can't imagine that they are, but if they try and mix and match that up, or those parts up, then the car just isn't going to be balanced in the way that it was supposed to be developed, and those parts were developed. So, but Junior, so because he received hate, he must be champ. Lewis received more than that, and they still want him to retire. But we have Alonso, who hasn't won anything in more than 10 years. I didn't say because he's received hate, he must be champ. No. I said I would like to see him be champion, because I think it would be 2 fingers up to a lot of those haters online. That's just my observation. You're happy to disagree with that, but I don't think he must be champion because of that. No. Alonso is not been champion for 10 years because he hasn't positioned himself in a car that is capable of winning a championship. And he, as we mentioned earlier on, he has unfortunately been the bad egg in all of those teams, and then those teams have improved once he's left. I don't think that's necessarily bad. I don't think that's bad luck. I think that's him being the common denominator in bringing those teams down. Drivers are very influential in directing the development path of the team. And if you've got just someone who's purely negative all the time, that can have bad morale and have a bad impact. So, could Alonso score a point, or does the Nepo baby carry the team? No, Alonso can score a point. He's at his home race. We always say at your home race, you gain an extra couple of attempts, maybe 3 attempts or so. So, yeah, he'll be... If the Aston Martin doesn't blow up on him like it did in Monaco, he should be able to score points here, I think. Yeah, that they've brought... The updates that they brought to that Aston Martin in Imola have definitely had the desired effect, and it's moved them up the leaderboard. So, yeah, just need to be able to make it to the end. Of course, Imola, they were screwed over a bit by strategy. The team wasn't very... they missed the ball there, really, with that 2-stop. And with the safety cars, they were on the wrong end of the stick, and he just fell short. And then, of course, his engine went pop, didn't it, in Monaco. So when he was comfortably going to be in the points. Lewis and Fernando don't have much more to prove. No, they don't. Look, it's one of those things, is that I think people hate winners. It's tall poppy syndrome. In the UK, if you don't know what this is, tall poppy syndrome, we love an underdog. We love supporting up-and-coming sports stars or businessmen, whoever it may be. But as soon as they get to that point that you want them to be in, they're winning, they're fighting for championships or whatever, they've got successful businesses now, we don't like that tall poppy. We don't like them getting above their station. And it's like, no. We want to cut them back down to size. Like, we like you being the underdog, but we don't like you being better than us. And that's what happens. And I think that's what you see up and down the grid. And I think, like, that's been the case for Lando. Lando was the darling. There was so much support for Lando when he first came into the sport. But as soon as he started winning, as soon as he started having a faster car, started receiving unnecessary hate. Same kind of... Similar kind of with Lewis Hamilton, I guess, to an extent. I think Lewis has maybe always had a bit more kind of hate on him because he came into the sport very... quick and just hit the ground running. But hate winners. People hate winners, and they hate successful people, and they're always willing to bring them down. And I think that's pretty much what it is for a lot of drivers, no matter what the nationality is, especially in F1 now. So people praise Alonso and Max because they achieved more in slower car versus Lewis falls apart when he had a slower car to the point he can't even beat his teammates. Well, this season it's very, very different. This is a different regulation set that Lewis clearly hasn't got on well with. But yeah, I think it's got to the point. I don't think Lewis has gone through his career not with he hasn't gone throughout his whole career with the quickest car in every season. No. Like, the Mercedes, at the end of his McLaren career, after 2008, when he won his championship, that McLaren was not the fastest car, but he still won races. He still fought for championships. Then he went to Mercedes. The first year of Mercedes was terrible. That Mercedes car, it just chewed its tyres up, left, right and centre. So Lewis hasn't gone throughout his career with always having the fastest car. And I've also said as well, I don't think you should begrudge drivers for having the fastest car. As I mentioned before, I don't want to repeat myself too much, but the fastest drivers get the fastest car because they are bloody quick and they've entitled themselves to those positions. So you shouldn't... How good someone is shouldn't necessarily be that they have to prove themselves in a slower car. Like, no. That's not the true worth of a driver, in my opinion, of valuing a driver, in my opinion, or their performance. But each to their own. That's just me. Right, guys, we're getting to the business end of FP3. I can't believe we're still... It feels like I've been talking forever. But we have drivers out on the brand new softs. Here we go. Performance laps, guys. Performance laps. Let's see in these temperatures who we are maybe looking for pole position. We're going to get maybe a little bit of an idea of the order for qualifying in a few hours' time. So here we go. Max Verstappen is on a lap, ladies and gentlemen, as he crosses the start-finish line. DRS open as his teammate comes out the pit lane. Let's see what Max Verstappen can do. He's my tip for winning this week. Let's see if I'm in the right ballpark. It all depends on the tyre management. Of course, we know track position is key, as always, in these cars. But with how long that run is through turn 13 to down to turn 1, and the DRS. Overtaking is possible here as he goes fastest in the first sector. Only a couple of hundredths quicker than George Russell in the first sector, but we'll keep an eye on him and see how he gets on into the slowest sector here, which is Sector 2. Sector 3, of course, that has that chicane, that poxy chicane has been removed, thankfully. And we've gone to the more historic layout here, but through the fast, over the crest, over the hill, through turn 9 there, and needs to be careful of track limits on the exit as he heads down into the braking zone of turn 10. And he's not purple, he's a 10th off there in that middle sector off of George Russell. Have the Mercedes maybe found some pace, but maybe running a bit more fuel, of course, as well. We don't know fuel loads. That could play a factor. As he comes around the last corner, Verstappen, where can he go? Don't think he's going to go to the top here unless he's had a mega last sector. Oh, no, he is. Only 0.02 of a second, though. So purple first sector, a purple last sector, but I tell you what, not a lot to separate George Russell. The Mercedes have gone well here in the past. Of course, George Russell was swooping famously around both Norris and Verstappen to take the lead last year. Whereas Lando is on a push lap now, so we'll stay on board with the McLaren. Why so much hate on Alonso? He has immense mentality and he drags tractors. No hate on Alonso. It's just what from plenty of years of watching Fernando Alonso, I've just made observations that I think he's been the common denominator for teams performing poorly. As good of a driver as he is. So he should have more world championships, but unfortunately he doesn't. Right, Norris, fastest in the first sector. He's just put a 10th on Verstappen in that first sector. So second sector line is at the end of, well, right into the entry of turn 10. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if Lando goes fastest again. Oh, he's backed out, Lando. Oh, he's backed out. Did he run wide there? That's a very sharp backing off by Lando. Has he had an issue? There's no yellow flag, but he's massively slammed on the brakes there, so he's probably run wide through turn 9. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Just watching it now, and Lando is on his lap. Did he run wide? He's got to have run wide through there. Oh my goodness, yes, he had, oh my god, he's very fortunate there. So he had a tank slapper through turn 9 as Alonso's gone fastest in the middle sector. He's gone, he had a big tank swapper through turn 9 and he took to the escape road. So that's why he went very slowly. He didn't slam on the brakes per se. He took to the escape road because the rear of that McLaren just gave way. That's very interesting. Maybe a bit of a gust of wind caught him off guard there. But the tyre, it's very odd for the tyres to give way there as Alonso. Ooh, P3 for Alonso. Separated by 0.04 of a second. Not bad. You think the race is going to be a lot more interesting than last year because the front wing regulations could help? Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. This is the sport you need to capitalise on everything you can to become a legend. Max did it. Lewis did it. That's how it goes. Look back to Williams and Racing Bull last week. Those people who said Lewis had the fastest car throughout his F1 career just don't do much research. He was in cars where he can compete for podiums and wins, not always the fastest. Yeah, exactly, and that's the same for a lot of drivers as well. They're not always, very, very few drivers. I'm trying to think, has there ever been a driver who's come in and always had the fastest car? But like, there's been drivers who have like made an impact in the first like 2 years of coming to the sport, and then they've gone up to a better team. So at the end of the day, you could be the quickest driver on the grid, but if you don't have the machinery underneath you, you're not going to win a championship. You're not going to win races. So Yuki is on average 0.5 behind his teammate. Can he get any better? I don't know. I think for Yuki to be half a second off of Verstappen is probably good going. So, I mean, Red Bull clearly don't care about that second car so much. They don't care about the constructors. They probably want the extra wind tunnel time as well, as Hulkenberg goes up into P4. So, yeah. Let's see if Bortoleto can beat his teammate, can he? Poor showing in Monaco for Bortoleto. He can. Ooh. Good inter-team battle there between Bortoleto and Hulkenberg. 11. Just before it, yeah. Sure, really getting tired. What's going on here? Lewis robbed in his rookie season, lost the title by a single point, and was disqualified at Spa for showing Raikkonen how to drive. Yeah, I remember that, yeah. Yeah, I do remember that. Well, there is the conspiracy theory, isn't there? There is the conspiracy that McLaren were not allowed to win the title in 2007 because of Spygate, and they were fined, obviously, a considerable amount of money. I still think it's the largest fine in F1 history. And everyone was thinking, well, if they've been found guilty, why have they not been penalised points? And supposedly the conspiracies are that they weren't allowed to win the championship. So that's what some dubious things, mechanical issues happened to those McLarens in the closing stages of the season. So yeah. I think the people that say Max is better than Lewis are the ones that just like that Max can win without the fastest car, which you get. Yeah, look, at the end of the day, this is the thing with all like greatest of all time debates. In any sport, everyone has their own different measure of. They all have their own different way of measuring their greatest of all times. So no one is ever going to completely agree. There are some that maybe you go, yeah. But there's some who go, I'm not too big into basketball, but there's some that go, LeBron is the greatest of all time and he's better than Michael Jordan. And there's obviously a load of people that will dispute that. And it's the same with like Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods. And so everyone has their own different way of measuring. And you can have friendly debates about it. But there's no kind of right or wrong. Unless you're going Lance Stroll's the greatest of all time, then you're just completely wrong. But if you go for, wow, Jesus, holy moly, Piastri's just dunked. I thought, wow, Norris, he's just gone 4 times quicker than Verstappen, and then Piastri just dunked half a second on his teammate. What the hell? Jesus, where's that come from, Piastri? But going back to, Lance Stroll. Lance Stroll is the greatest of all time when it comes to Q1 disqualification knockouts, which he extended in Monaco, by the way, guys. He extended that record in Monaco. So he is the greatest of all time in something in F1. Sorry, Stroll fans. I know there's a few of you out there. Wow, where did that come from Piastri? That was impressive. That was impressive. Now, we're still a full second off of pole position of last year, so there's still a lot of time out there on track, guys. 47-degree track temperature. We expect that's going to cool by the time we get to qualifying in a few hours' time. But Norris there, maybe different fuel. Okay, it kind of makes sense, and that is a real. There we go. That's the key indicator there. Piastri did that on his first lap. That's why. So you can see the number next to the tyre. Piastri did that in his first push lap, whereas Norris did his lap on his second push lap because he had that tank swapper through turn 9. So that just shows that this circuit, as we know, hardest compound tyre here. The C3 is the soft compound tyre here this week. So the soft tyre is not suitable to do multiple push laps. It's one and done, basically, on one set of tyres. It's not like Monaco. It's not like Imola. We're going to see tyres be able to do more than one push lap. This is it at Barcelona, I think. So, because it is a high-energy circuit. So, let's stay on board with Lewis, shall we? Because he's on a fresh set of boots. 14th he is at the moment. He's only set laps on mediums. So, this will be his first push lap on a set of softs. 21.7. He struggled yesterday, Lewis. He's just gone full fastest. Level pegging with Verstappen at the moment through the first sector. But we know Max has plenty in the tank in that Red Bull, I do still suspect. We're still as I mentioned, Piastri's time is still a full second off of pole position of last year. So we're some way off of the true pace of these cars, as we've seen them be, on average, a second quicker per race weekend. So Hamilton is green, understandably. Middle sector's not great, about 4 tenths off of Piastri. How about the last sector? Where does he go to? Only P8. Ooh, yeah, 22.4. That last sector. He's had a mistake there, Lewis. That last sector, he's had a mistake. That's a 22.4, and that's like 19th fastest. So yeah, something. Where's he gone wrong there? Let's have a look. Watch it in for the last couple of corners. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't noticeably make a mistake. It just looks slow. Very odd. Joint record race winner here at Spain, by the way, guys. Lewis Hamilton, 6-time winner, joint with Michael Schumacher. So that Ferrari, yeah, maybe the tyres just not lasting in the last couple of sectors there, or maybe Lewis just struggling with that car. You're predicting high 109s in quali. Ooh, I think 109s is a push, to be honest with you. I don't think we'll see 109s. Not with these track temperatures that we're seeing. So, has anyone ever pulled out a no-stop strategy? It is against the rules. So, technically speaking, yes, they could do a no-stop strategy because there's no refueling. So, fuel isn't an issue. What is the issue is the fact that you have to mandatory change tyre compounds once in the race. So, you always have to have... Well, not always, but you can have a red flag. So there's always at least some form of a stoppage where the drivers have to take off their tyres and switch compounds. So that's in the rules. Otherwise, you're disqualified. Fredersen, do I think Verstappen can get pole? I never rule him out. I don't think we've seen the true pace of the Red Bull still yet. But the McLarens are looking comfortably quickest. Comfortably. So, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I'll try and listen to some interviews and see how the Red Bull is on their tyres. That was really going to be the crux of their performance here this week, I think, was whether or not they can make the tyres last. Have they been able to... Imola, we saw them be able to manage the tyres better. But this has... It's a lot higher energy circuit, this, than it is Imola. So, like Miami... Could we see maybe a similar performance to Miami, where yes, over a single lap it's on par with the McLarens, but over a race pace distance with the tyre management, maybe they'll fall off. But I don't know. I'm still in the Verstappen camp for winning this race. But yeah, I mean, this isn't a representative session. That's what I would take from that, guys. Is for any of those looking up and down the grid and where they are, is that the track conditions are going to change. They should get cooler by the time we head to qualifying. Should. That doesn't mean they will. But yeah, it's not a representative session. So we do expect the track will get quicker come qualifying. Do I think Lewis has lost some pace with age? Yes, 100%. Yeah. That's just physics, but biology. It's just biology. You're not in your peak when you're 40 years old in any sport, really. Maybe there are some sports that aren't physical, maybe like snooker and stuff. But yeah, arguably, you're not in your... No sportsman is in their peak. No athlete is in their peak at 40 years old. So that is... Yeah, of course he's lost a bit of pace. Same as Fernando Alonso. But they still have the know-how. They still have enough pace to be able to win races. And if given the opportunity... Yeah, I mean, I generally think... I think if Alonso and Hamilton had the fastest cars on the grid... I think we could generally see a championship battle between Alonso and Hamilton. I think they've still got it in them to win races. So, imagine that. In some alternate universe, they're in the fastest car, guys. What's my opinion between Piastri and Norris? Who manages their tyres better? Because throughout this year, although Norris made some mistakes, I do think he handles tyres better than Piastri. So, we haven't yet really come to many circuits where the McLaren has struggled with tyres. I think Miami was maybe one where we thought they may struggle with tyres, but they didn't struggle at all. The other teams did, but their car was supreme there. I think Imola's the first time we've seen tyre management on the McLarens not be as good as the rest of the field, or be way and above the rest of the field. And we saw Piastri dip out of his strategy because he lost a whole second in 2 laps on Max. Now, part of that is because he's in dirty air, but I do think it's because he was in dirty air, he was unable to manage his tyres as efficiently if he was in clean air. And I think Norris did a better job at Imola of managing his tyres than Piastri did. Now, people will say, well, Norris was in clean air, but Norris stayed behind George Russell for around 12 laps or so, 10 laps before he got past him. He had to manage his tyres and try and overtake in that time. And he was still better than Piastri in that first stint on those laps and managing them and making them go longer. And I think they pulled the trigger a bit too early on Norris, to be honest with you, when it came to that strategy. And he probably could have gone longer. But that's the only time we've really seen it. This weekend, Barcelona, there's going to be, you reckon, some form of tyre management, I think. Just because of how high energy circuit it is, how hot it's potentially going to be. So we'll see. But Piastri is most definitely improved year on year. First year, his biggest performance loss to Norris was his race pace, was the tyres. Yes, he was being outperformed in qualifying, but it's his first year. Second year, he closed that gap even further. There were certain races that he did poor at the previous season, Hungary in particular, which he won. Of course, we know what happened with the team decisions. But Piastri was very good, and he even said himself, he goes, that was arguably his worst race in his first year for tyre management. And Hungary was much better the second year. So he has made continued improvements year on year, but Norris maybe still has just a slight edge. But we're still kind of yet to see a proper tyre management race for McLaren because they've been so dominant on their tyres. So, hey Syria, you saw some guy commenting in Arrow McLaren's Detroit race, but I know you guys are cheating. I think he confused McLaren for Penske. Yeah. Which drivers do I think are in their prime at the moment? Lando, Leclerc, Verstappen, Sainz, Russell. Piastri hasn't come into his prime yet. He's still a little bit too young. Yeah, those drivers. I'd say F1 drivers are in their prime, like mid-20s to early 30s, I think. I think that's their prime. I think that's like that's their prime. It used to be, but like as soon as you got over 30, you were done in F1. But sports science now is so much more better. We know how to look after ourselves better, and these guys have got all the money and all the resource to look after their bodies and have the best nutrition and the best exercise and so forth. So yeah. 45 seconds remaining, guys, of this FP1 session. Thank you for everyone tuning in, by the way. Hit that like button, by the way. Let's get this stream to 1,000 likes. Over 2,000 of you in the stream. It's good to be back. Apologies I missed yesterday with FP1 and FP2. But at least we made it for FP3. And lots to talk about. Lots to talk about, of course. But yeah, seems to be that the flexi front wing change has had no impact on McLaren whatsoever. Typical. Absolutely typical. But we should have a showdown between the two McLarens for pole position, it seems. Never rule out Max, of course. The Ferraris, I mean, who knows which Ferrari is going to turn up, to be completely honest with you. The Mercedes, don't rule them out. George Russell looks sneaky quick when it comes to the qualifying performance. Isaac Hadjar once again up there. Oh, look at him, Isaac Hadjar up in P6. Liam Lawson looking to build up on some confidence that he got in Monaco. So, yeah, that is it for this session, guys. Checkered flag. Prime Stroll next year with newly designed car. Apologies. Prime, yeah, we've got a prime Lance Stroll at the moment as well. He's in his prime. Gasly's in his prime. So, Williams 8 fastest. Yeah, Williams 8 fastest, probably not showing their true hand yet. This isn't that much of a representative session, guys. So I would take, other than maybe the McLarens, I would take the rest of the times with a pinch of salt. Oh, pardon me. I'd take the times with a pinch of salt. The McLarens are where we expect them to be. But everyone else, that order is still going to change up, I think. So. Everyone's been more of an engineering sport than the drivers, although drivers get more media, rightfully so. Yeah, it's always, look, 80% of it is the car. The next 20% is the driver. That makes a difference. That's a rough split. That's what I think it is. End of the day, you're not going to win races. You're not going to fight for a championship if you don't have the car to consistently be able to do so. As Max is potentially finding out now. And that's why Max is still in this championship fight because that car is good enough at probably enough circuits this season. And because the McLarens are fighting each other and they haven't got a driver who's just completely outperforming the other and running away with it, Max is still in the championship. So, my pleasure, Peter. My pleasure. Albon put in only one flying lap out of 5. Car now on lift and won't go back out. Anyone know what's wrong with the car? I haven't seen that, Crolito. I haven't had my headset in to hear anything. Williams had issues with their brakes yesterday, I did see. So Carlos Sainz, one of his sessions was delayed yesterday from getting started because he had to bleed the brakes. So I'd be a bit concerned if I'm Williams, to be honest with you, because in the last few races, we've seen Mercedes-powered cars have issues. Alonso in the Aston Martin in Monaco. We saw George Russell's engine go out in Monaco. we saw Kimi Antonelli's engine cut out in Imola. So if you're a Mercedes customer, I'd be a little bit concerned about your power units right now. The colours swatched over, revved. I don't know why. That was a couple of races ago. They swapped the colours over. So, what track was it last year? Russell got disqualified for his car. It was Spa. Yeah, it was Spa. My pleasure, Max. Good to see you, mate. Do you think Hadjar will replace Yuki next season? I hope not. I want Hadjar to stay in that seat right now and just continue to build his confidence and don't get rushed up into the Red Bull. I think that's what he needs for himself. So, we'll see. Who's registered the highest top speed today? Yeah, we'll have a look. So, let's have a look at the sector lock times first, just as we are ending this FP3 session. Piastri fastest in all sectors there, setting a 12.3. Lando Norris fastest in the first sector, but a bit slower in the second and third, only slightly. The second sector for him, the reason why he's so far off his teammate there and 3 tenths down is primarily because his first run on the soft tyre he had to bail out of. He had a snap of oversteer. He had a big twitch through turn 9, so he had to take to the escape road, and then his fastest lap, which was half a second back from his teammate, was on the same set of tyres. So evidently, high energy circuit here at Barcelona. It's all or nothing. It's one lap, one push lap. That's it. That's all you're getting out of the tyres. The Mercedes don't rule them out, but yeah, considerably down. Everyone else considerably down on Piastri's push lap there. Hamilton's last sector was very poor on his push lap. That wasn't even from his. That was on the mediums. That fastest sector there. Liam Lawson, bit of time to be found for him. He's slowest in the first sector, but a bit better as he goes throughout the second and third sector. So that's that. Of course, top speed is essential here, as is downforce, though. It's a very mixed circuit here with all different types of corners, but top speed is essential, of course, with the DRS zone from turn 14 to turn 1. That's your prime overtaking spots. So the top speed trap was Lewis Hamilton. Actually, 330 miles an hour. We could see the toe, the slipstream, be deployed in qualifying. We've seen that before. It's going to be essential here. It can be the all-important extra tenth or a couple of hundredths that you need to be on pole position or a couple of positions up or down, as we've seen in qualifying this year, with it how close it has been. Expecting another close one in a few hours' time, of course, with qualifying. When's that get underway? When's my live stream up and underway, guys? Let me link it for you. I do have it ready to go. Have it ready to rock and roll. 3 o'clock, so just before 3 o'clock, which is 2.5 hours time, basically. 2.5 hours time. You can go way over there. 330 kilometres, not miles, kilometres an hour. There was a chicane a few years ago, Primeval, but they changed it. They changed the layout to the historic layout 2 years ago. Oh, something is stuck, Lewis Hamilton was reporting. Something is stuck in the shifting. So, Lewis Hamilton having issues with his gearbox, potentially. Hey, Bob. I pay for the same watch-along digitally delayed actual replay, but non-visual. What's that? What are you saying? You pay for same watch-along digitally delayed actual replay, but non-visual as... Sorry, mate. Can you relay that again? What happened to Leclerc in the third sector? I don't know. It seems like maybe the Ferraris are... Let's have a look at the sector times. Let's have a look here. Are you looking? Oh, sorry. The speed trap, you mean? The speed trap. Charles probably just didn't get a tow. He's only 5 kilometres an hour down, so it's probably not getting a tow. So, who's my top 5 for quali? I am going to go... I'm going to go Piastri. I think Piastri has just looked on it. Piastri for P1, Norris P2. I think it's going to be a front row lockout for McLaren. I think Verstappen will get third, but I think there'll be quite a bit of a gap between Piastri. Just from what I'm seeing. I hope not, but I think there might just be a bit of a gap between the McLarens and the rest of the field. Verstappen, P3. Russell, P4. Russell, second row. And then I think maybe Kimi might be up there ahead of the Ferraris. I don't think the Ferraris look good here at all. So, Maybe a concern, Calido. Albon didn't do FP1 and now missed FP3. Only one flying lap before retired car. Oh, he didn't do FP1, did he? Ah, okay. That makes sense. Yeah, so clearly issues with the Mercedes-powered cars at the moment. Whether it is a power unit issue, I don't know. Could be. But with them having a couple of engines go pop, 3 engines go pop over the last kind of 2 race weekends, that's not good news, is it? So who else is a Mercedes-powered unit? You've got Williams, Aston Martin. That's it, I think. And then, of course, Mercedes themselves. I think there's only 3 customer units. Alpine are moving to Mercedes gearboxes and power units next season. So, yeah, that's it for now, I think. So, what sort of yellow flags? I don't. I think they just get out there to remove gravel and so forth. It means there's probably marshals on circuit and they are clearing the track because you have the F2 getting underway next. So, I think the sprint race. Ferrari have better race pace than Merc. Yeah. Do they? I haven't checked it out, to be honest with you. I said yeah very quickly there. Why is Piastri 5 tenths ahead of Norris? The reason Piastri is ahead is because Norris had to bail out of his first push lap. So it's a very high energy circuit here at Barcelona, and unlike Monaco and other circuits, we aren't going to see more than 1 push lap, I presume, on the same set of tyres. So it is very much going to be out, push lap, come back into the pits, go back out on the new set of tyres. The usual rigmarole of F1 qualifying again. So, yeah, Norris had to bail out of his first lap, so he used all of his tyre life, basically. And then he went for a second push lap, and that just showcases the difference, whereas Piastri was able to... showcases the difference of tyre loss, because Piastri was able to get his push lap done on the first attempt. So that's why he's half a second quicker. So... Are you getting F2 given? No, I've actually got to... I would like to try and attempt to see whether the data comes through. I will see if the data comes through, actually. But I'm on holiday Monday, and I've got some running around to do. Some final bits of running around in between this session and the next one. But yes, do not fear. I'll be back, of course, for qualifying, which is in a few hours' time, guys. So hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you, everyone tuning in. We are back. It's good to be back. And yes... who knows who's going to be on pole position? Are we going to see some red flags? Is it going to be a bit of a shock? Or is it going to be what we expect? Piastri and Norris on pole position. I'm going to go set a poll up in the chat for the quali live stream. So head on over, get your votes in, and we'll see you in a few hours' time. Thank you, guys. See you then. Bye.